fence. Mm-hmm. A couple of blocks away from the blockade, a group of girls encountered something that has stuck with them to this day. Mm-hmm. Please tell them what they saw.
Well, this was the report that the TV reporter guy heard from. So this was the sighting in question took place by 3 girls, 2 sisters and her friend, in a grassy alley between 2 buildings around 3:30 in the afternoon. It's like a grassy alleyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure
it's like a courtyard. Yeah, it's like a courtyard.
Thank you. It's like a courtyard, people.
A bricked-in fence court, not fence, but kind of bricked-in courtyard.
Bricked in.
I didn't mean to choke there. Well, I never mean to choke. I wanted to choke.
Only on Thursday nights.
Yeah, Daddy.
Oh God. So, the 3 girls
Goldilocks.
The 3 girls who witnessed this sighting. Fox brings the 3 girls. Fox is the documentary.
Like I stated earlier.
As I said earlier. Fox brings the 3 girls, Liliana Silva, Valkyria Silva, to the scene 26 years later, along with their friend Katya Xavier. I would say Xavier, but I don't know. But Katya.
Katya sounds good.
Yeah.
It's the right word. So.
I won't be doing last names again. The 3 of which were the ones who had the encounter on that night in 1996.
What language does Jesus speak?
Hebrewic.
I just typed in trying to say what language do they speak in Brazil, and it came out, what language did Jesus speak? Sorry.
Oh. So the 3 of which were the ones who had the encounter on that night in 1996. As described by the 3 women, the event went as follows. Was I correct?
You were correct.
I thought so.
But it sounds just like Spanish.
It does.
And I understood some of it too, so it must be similar to Spanish.
So I know some Spanish.
Yeah.
And by some, I mean probably like 6.5 words.
Well, they still said yes with C, and a key is here, so it must be
Spain
pretty close.
and Portugal are very close.
Listen, lady.
Sorry for giving logic. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't give me facts and shit and geography. I don't want to know this shit.
I don't want to know.
I'm sorry. Please proceed.
It's okay. As described by the 3 women, the event went as follows.
Yes.
Liliana was walking ahead of her sister and Katya by only a few feet. Liliana was 16 and Valkyria was 14, and they didn't say Katya's age.
I thought one was 13, but it doesn't matter. They were around that age.
They're young.
young.
Yeah. So she was walking ahead of them, and she noticed and began looking at the graffiti painted on the wall to her left.
Caught her eye.
As her eyes were running down the wall, she then saw the creature and screamed. This drew the attention of her sister, who immediately followed her eye line to the wall and spotted it as well. Liliana mentions how she looked into its eyes and noted that it was frightened, as she too felt frightened. Something they repeated thousands of times.
Yeah.
Just a shared fear. She said it was an exchange of fears, as she felt it was as afraid of them as they were of it. Katya commented that when she saw it, she was stopped dead in her tracks like she was glued to the ground. Oops. What they saw was the creature backed up to the wall, crouched down, cowering. Katya describes the creature as having red glowing eyes. Not glowing. Cut that. I don't know why I'm editing it. Katya describes the creature as having red eyes,
for posterity,
oily skin, no hair, and she couldn't discern an open mouth, just that it had a sad expression.
Sad expression. They only noticed the eyes because you're going to talk about in a second about the eyes, but probably because they were so noticeable that's the only thing she noticed.
Yes.
They noticed.
Yes, exactly. Afterwards, an artist collaborated with the 3 to paint what they witnessed. The painting depicts exactly what description they had said and showed the creature in a crouched, balled-up stance of cowering, matching the fear that they witnessed from the being. It's pretty wild picture. It's got the oily skin and everything, which that'll come up later, important.
Many times. And it also has like bumps on its head.
Yeah, I saw
which
that
also
too.
Comes up a couple times too. Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't mention it, but every depiction had the bumps on the head.
Yeah, and they didn't mention it.
They didn't.
Yeah.
Probably nothing. But, so my question I was going to ask you in this part.
Okay.
So they both felt fear. They saw the creature looked afraid. They felt fear. Mm-hmm. It's probably nothing. in terms of they probably were just scared of the creature. But do you think it's possible? Because there's theories that aliens can they communicate emotions and words, obviously, just telepathically. Do you think it's at all possible that the creature's fear was kind of also transported to the, like, psychologically transport, or however you call it?
Telepathically.
Thank you. Telepathically transport? Or do you think they were just legit fried?
I think...
afraid.
I think they were both afraid.
I think so, too.
No, I genuinely think they both had fear. Both parties. I think I'm thinking of it as if this storyline that we're following is as we are told. Their ship crashed. It ran away 20 miles away. It's, for all intents and purposes, stranded without its whatever it needs to survive, and it's on the run right now.
Right.
I'm assuming it's, and from accounts right now that we know as of this time, it's alone. So I'm assuming it probably was actually afraid. And,
right.
But then again, how can you discern emotion from an alien body like that, You
can't discern anything. But obviously, for some reason, they knew it was
afraid.
Scared.
Yes.
They knew that was scared.
Yeah.
Or afraid, yeah.
It's like when you see an animal.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of tell what kind of mood that animal's in. Like my pup, when I get home every day, and he does a big stretch, and then he walks up to me and he sits down and he just wants love.
Oh, and then when I'm around, he just gets hard and fucking sits next to me, and it's like, hey, get away from me.
Wow.
Get away from me, dude. I don't like that.
He did that one time.
He's done that like 4 times.
Times 7.
Say, hey, one time.
Yeah. Anyway.
Nice little detour on dog penis. All right, let's go.
Back on the rails. Katya says that the eyes of the creature were 3 times that of a human. Big and red, though. Liliana says...
Nice fish, but big fucking eyes.
Nice fucking fish.
Big fucking eyes.
But a nice fucking fish. Liliana says that after she saw the being, which was only about 8 feet away from her when she saw it, she took off running, and then the other 2 behind her witnessed it and followed after her.
Shit, 8 foot is like right there.
Yeah. It's right there.
I would be...
How's it going today?
Hey, my name is Jim Fudd. Fudd, huh?
On behalf of all of us, welcome to Earth.
Yeah.
What trinkets do you have to sell?
Touch me.
The 3 women, after fleeing for a bit, stopped to regroup. I squeaked. Stopped to regroup and asked each other, what was that? Like,
I don't fucking know.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's turn tail and scurry.
They continued to run until they made it to Liliana and Valkyria's mother's house.
Oh.
Their mother ran out of the house and saw Katya practically carrying Valkyria after sensing something was wrong. After filling her in on the spectacle that they had witnessed, they decided to hop up in the truck and go back against Katya's protest.
Yeah, I don't want to see that thing either.
Yeah, well... When when they got back and showed their mother the spot, she saw no creature but did see a footprint in the mud that she has burned into her memory today.
10 fucking toes.
Nope.
I know.
About 7 less than that.
Exactly 7, actually.
What she saw was a small footprint with only 3 long, narrow, pointed toes extending out from a circular pad of a foot. The middle one was long, and they were very narrow and kind of claw-like. I don't know if that was just from her drawing or if it was supposed to be like that.
She's not an artist. That was clear.
Yeah. Jesus. Fucking kick her while she's down, why don't you? Oh, my God.
I meant, well, if she is an artist, then one toe is just fat and long. Or fat and wide.
Try again.
This doesn't look good.
She also notes that there was a horrible smell that burned into her nose that she couldn't rid for 20 days after.
Sorry, Ma, I shit my pants.
The smell, yet again, of ammonia and sulfur. At this point...
And for you that don't know, rotten eggs and sulfur kind of smell similar, so you'll hear it back and forth.
Yeah. At this point, she noped out and grabbed the girls and left.
Nope.
Now, just down the road from there...
What happened?
3 hours after the girls' encounter, military police were driving down the road next to the spot of their sighting, of the girls' sighting, looking for something that they found. This was like right around the block.
Right, literally.
3 hours
block
later.
Away.
They were on patrol, told to look for something strange. And they were.
They found it.
A creature ran across the road in front of their car. I don't know if it was giddy. Haha, it is I, Spring Heel Jack. A creature.
It was Irish. It was Irish.
A creature ran across the road in front of their car, and the officer fled the car and gave chase. This officer taking point was named Marco Chirizi.
Mario?
Marco?
Okay.
Why, do you have Mario?
Yeah, I do.
No, it's Marco.
Doesn't matter.
Marco Chirizi. He led the chase. Now, Marco Chirizi caught up to the creature and grabbed it with his bare hands and bear hugged it and restrained it. Supposedly, he took it to a hospital from here. But more interestingly is that following this...
Huh?
I don't know why this autocorrected to druggy.
Well, I hope.
Struggle.
I think the government hijacked your fucking laptop and wrote druggy. He's a druggy.
But more interestingly is that following this struggle, Chirizi smelled of the creature immediately after, that sulfur ammonia smell again,
Yes, sir.
and felt as if his skin on the parts in contact with the creature were greasy and sticky. Over the next 2 to 3 weeks, he developed an infection in his body that would not go away and progressively got worse, especially in the parts where he came into contact with the being. An infection that essentially shut his immune system down, as described by a doctor who treated him. He also said that in his career, he had never seen anything like this before. This infection would ultimately be one of the causes for Marco Chirizi's death just a few weeks after contact with the creature.
Oh, just a couple of weeks.
An otherwise healthy 23-year-old military officer, in the span of a few short weeks, developed an infection that destroyed him. A doctor that worked in the intensive care unit of the hospital recalls the event while attending to Chirizi at the time, saying that his death was ruled an undetermined cause despite all the treatments and tests that they could do. The doctor said that in an effort to save his life, Chirizi was disclosing information to them about what had happened, the chase, the restraint, all of which he was restricted from talking about due to the secrecy of the military. Now, this is 3 weeks later. Right. He got admitted to the hospital 3 weeks later. I'll talk about it later. 7 a.m. in the morning, he got admitted. And he went in and apparently felt fine, despite all of his infection.
Sister, yeah.
And the doctor said that as he started to progressively get worse and worse, he was like, this is what happened to me. This is when it started. This is, he's just telling them all this stuff to try and give them anything to try and save him.
Because he worked for a secret government, not secret government, but yeah, he couldn't tell what he was doing.
Yes.
Something to do with that, his sister said, right?
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Chirizi's family had only known at the time that he was working on a quote-unquote secret military operation. That was all that they knew.
Okay.
Now, in the time after that night, as he begins to grow sick, his sister Marta asked him if it was true about the crash and the alien sightings. And he replied with, all I can say is this story is going to be big. He was admitted to the hospital at 7 a.m., and died at 11:45 a.m.
Not that long.
No.
After going in feeling okay, I guess.
Right.
I mean, why did you go to the hospital in the first place? You felt 100% okay, though.
He didn't feel 100% okay.
Okay.
He had the rash and infection that was spreading. He said, I pretty much feel fine. Marta says that the doctors wanted to bury him as fast as possible.
Yeah.
An autopsy report shows the presence of an unidentifiable substance in a general infection, but was not a justifiable cause. I believe the infection was what they meant. I don't. That was a note for myself.
I was about to say, is that a Lenin?
I Bidened it.
It's a Leninism.
Repeat line. In 2003, Dr. Roger Lear went to Varginha to investigate an interview. While talking to Marco Chirizi's wife, she says that the medical report took a long time for them to first receive, and when they finally did get it, when they finally did come to bring it, they demanded money for it. And once they received it, she said that pages were missing from it.
Of course. Lying pieces of shit.
On the day of January 20th, when Marco Chirizi's capture occurred that night, another capture had happened that morning by a fire brigade, making this the second quote-unquote confirmed captures of beings that day.